So, have you ever tried to shift a habit but found it a little bit challenging? If you have, you're in good company. You see, a lot of our habits are actually created first at the conscious level, but eventually through repetition and consistency, they get imprinted at our subconscious level. Now, once a pattern becomes subconscious, it can be a little bit of a different maneuver to identify it and to shift it. Because again, subconscious means below our conscious level of awareness. However, there are a few ways that you can actually track your patterns, consciously or subconsciously, to give yourself an opportunity to shift the behaviors and the patterns that you'd like to shift. Here's one of the ways that I do that. One of my techniques is I've actually instilled a question for myself. When I observe myself taking an action, I will often ask myself, why am I doing this? Now, I don't ask myself that from a place of judgment. It's not like why are you doing this? It's a genuine curiosity, maybe even like the curiosity of a 3-year-old. But what this does is it puts me in a state where instead of going through the motions of whatever it is that I'm doing without thinking, it invites a pause. And when it comes to pattern observing or pattern shifting, inviting a pause is probably one of the most powerful things that we can do. So an example of this might look like this. I have a pantry. Now, I found that I would often open that pantry door to grab a snack. It's a pattern, though. A lot of times I'd go by the pantry, I'd open up the door, probably to find a snack. And on some level, the pattern probably looked like, door is there. I know if I open the door, I will feel good because the good feeling comes from having the snack. It's enjoyable to see all the food there. I like the interaction interface. But eventually I just found myself opening it a lot. And I knew I found myself opening it a lot because when I instilled that habit or that extra step of asking, okay, why am I doing this? I was tracking that I was doing it a lot of times a day. Even if I wasn't always getting a snack, I'm like, wow, how many times am I doing this pattern each day? Like it was a lot more than I would have thought that I did. And I'm using that as an example for us because there's a lot of patterns I suspect in your own life, in my life, in any of our lives, where we may not fully realize how many times we participate in that loop. Now, these loops, they can be beneficial, maybe they're neutral, maybe they're challenging for us at this stage in our lives. I am not suggesting that you need to deep dive and change every single thing. In fact, here's another technique that I use. So for this one, I include my gut insight. All of us have a gut insight. It is the part of you, again, literally in your gut. It's the part of your gut that feels things, that senses like, I like this person, or well, I don't know if I should talk to that person. It's an intelligence within us, within our, if you call it the energy center, the solar plexus, the part of ourselves that knows things. There's the brain that thinks things, and then there's the gut that knows things. And that knowing part of my system, what I do is I invite it to work with the technique that I have, which is alerting me of asking, why am I doing this? And here's how I involve my gut. I ask my gut to alert me when there is a pattern going on that may not serve me, or when there is a pattern going on that may need review. So now you can get this view that it's almost as though I have started to set up a lot of invited and set up different systems in my body to communicate with me about the different patterns, perspectives, and experiences that I'm having. I think a lot of us would be surprised at how much our body, ourselves, our intuition, our gut wants to work with us. It's just many of us haven't made the choice just yet to consciously interface and invite those parts of ourselves to have essentially jobs of assistance. Actually, one of the things that I do, another thing that I do, is I've employed my intuition as sort of a personal assistant, and I've even instructed my intuition to alert me to things, help alert me to things that would be of benefit for me to take inspired action on, in accordance, in alignment with my values and with what I have said my chief aims are. My chief aims being the goals, the things that matter and are important to me. So, to summarize, some of the most simple ways to pattern shift is to start employing a why am I doing this? Like a question when you start something. And again, in the beginning, it might seem like a lot, but eventually you start only asking that when you employ your gut to alert you on the behaviors that may need your attention. And then lastly, I threw in there as a bonus the having your intuition as a personal assistant to alert you on things. So I hope that these 3 interesting techniques and perspectives have been a fun thing for you to hear about and explore. I'm going to go ahead and continue to leave some resources in the description. And if this has been of assistance, please feel free to like, to subscribe, to comment, to share. I always enjoy interfacing with you, and I look forward to our next video. And what did you think about the start-stop? I love experimenting with new things. Please let me know.